Stay with me a little while if you don't mind, because I think there's a lot to process when it comes to Charlie Kirk's assassination. For starters, it's important to note that even though we have another mass shooting and another instance of what you could call political violence, we don't know all of the details yet, and the motivation of the shooter could change how we talk about all of this. The number one thing that I think it's obvious to address is the kids. Left or right, I think we can agree that the effect that this has on kids is the most tragic part of all of it. And so first and foremost, my heart is with his kids. No child deserves to live with the pain that they have today and that they'll have going forward. I think the thing that traumatized us all the most is the video itself. Regardless of who it was, we've never collectively watched a bullet go through a guy's neck in 4K. And so it's the brutality of getting killed like that that at least shook me the most. And with that, I can't help but think of kids that that's happened to. I can't imagine seeing what I just saw if it was a 10-year-old. And yet that happens in this country constantly. We really should be picturing what happened here every time there's another school shooting so that we don't keep brushing it off like we have been. And for that matter, violence committed against children anywhere. Gaza, Sudan, our own streets. Now, I'm not sure what his kids saw, but even the chaos alone is enough to be horrifying. And that once again brings my mind to the thousands of kids that have had to watch their parents get shot or bombed or something else. There are way too many kids that have seen this kind of horror. Now, beyond the kids, we've got to deal with our own trauma response and the trauma response as a nation and the effects that's going to have. When we watched George Floyd die on camera, for instance, that triggered all kinds of responses and pushed people into the streets. The same is true with political assassinations of the past. And this is where everything gets really difficult, because now we're dealing with the person of Charlie Kirk. This isn't a person that inspired any kind of positive change in people or society. In fact, he's more responsible than most in poisoning the minds of the young men in this country and turning them into the same monsters that he was. He was a person that stated that he was willing to sacrifice children for the sake of the Second Amendment. He taught men to subjugate women and treat immigrants as second-class citizens or worse. He was constantly terrorizing trans people. And of course, he had a major role in ushering in this authoritarian regime. Just like Donald Trump, he was the polar opposite of anything that I would teach my boys to be. But he was also a 25-year-old human being with his entire life ahead of him. I think what's most important in how we respond to this is that we don't respond how Charlie would have. The right is now openly calling for a CW, with people like Jesse Waters on Fox News saying they're going to avenge his death. And unfortunately, I'm seeing online many on the left responding in kind. But as Charlie just found out, and as the person he professed to be, his Lord and Savior, said, if you live by the sword, you die by it. He defended guns with all his might, going so far as to say that guns were the solution to gun deaths. Sadly, he learned the hard way that does not work. So for those of you pushing violence, left or right, it only transforms. It never goes away. If you deal with it that way, you have to do it instead in the spirit of nonviolent resistance and love. This is all going to get much worse before it gets better, but I hope this at least made the potential violence real for people. At first I was upset that I saw it, but now I think that maybe most of us needed to see it. This is all about real people, and we need to start acting like it.